First off, this is the 20-year anniversary of when Steven Speaks first went platinum in the Philippines. It was 2023 when Passenger Seat went number one on the radio here in the country. I believe it was number one on Magic 89.9 for 3 months straight. And
Nice.
Someone told me that, I don't know if this is true, you guys will have to fact check, but someone told me that Beautiful by Christina Aguilera went number one in every country it was released in, except for the Philippines. Because Passenger Seat was number one, and it could not get unseated.
It's actually true.
It is true? So it's been 20 years now since Passenger Seat was number one on the radio, and then finally it got knocked out first place by the second single, Out of My League, which is still charted last year on Spotify. I think it's number 168 in the entire country for all the songs in the whole country on Spotify. So still making waves, and I'm excited. I'm here because we got a new single coming out on Valentine's Day, so it'll be released while I'm here. And it's called Try and Improve. I'm actually going to play it for you at the end of this. You guys get a sneak peek of the new single. And also we have a vinyl coming out. It's like a 20-year anniversary. It's going to be a greatest hits. It's going to come out on vinyl later this year, probably in October. So it'll be the first time that Steven Speaks music has ever been released on vinyl. I'm excited about that. And most of all, I'm excited to tour again post-pandemic, because I was planning on coming back in 2020, and we all know why that didn't happen. So it's good to be here. Thank you guys for showing up. Thanks to Marco Polo for having us and letting us use this room.
Rocco,
So I'm doing some malls. Tomorrow night I'm playing a sold-out show at Solaire Casino. That's a theater show. That's a ticketed event. But I am doing some free mall tours. So there's a couple of AL shows and a couple of Mega World shows that we're doing. And we're working on some others at night. And a lot of this stuff is kind of last minute. It's one of those things where as soon as I actually show up and it gets in the media that I'm here, all the venues that we were gonna book end up calling us like, oh, we want you now. So there's a chance I'll extend my stay and play some more shows, but even better chance that I'll come back in October and do some other stuff. So mall tours I think are great. I love mall tours. You guys have beautiful malls here, by the way. So it's fun.
Rocco, you want to talk about the greatest hits, this vinyl record of yours, and you're going to be the one choosing the tracks over here, right? And it's going to be, it's an exclusive Philippine release, right?
It is. I'll probably take some back to the United States. I'll sell them for really expensive. Import vinyl. But I've always wanted to put music on vinyl, and most of all, I've got a number of albums out and a lot of tracks that I think are really good that get lost in the mix over the years. So I wanted to take my favorite songs that I've ever done, and probably some that are like, down on the B-sides, but I think really deserve some attention. So I'm gonna pick my favorites of any of the recordings that I've ever done and put them all on one vinyl.
Before we proceed with your new single, why do you think that there's this, your popularity in the Philippines, it's not wavered, it continues to grow? What is it between you and the Philippines? What is that magic,
I get asked that question a lot. For one, I fell in love with the Philippines back in 2003. It wasn't really a coincidence that I picked this market. For one, at the time in the United States, it was, the radio was owned by pretty much one media conglomerate. So if you weren't signed with a label that was in that group, you didn't get played on the radio. Over here, it was a very unowned market. Radio stations played whatever they wanted. They weren't owned by one major media conglomerate. So it was easier to get people to play my music. So I started calling radio stations. I really targeted the Philippines in general. And ever since I have. That's really been a place that I love visiting. It's my favorite country in the world to visit. And I love the culture here. It's very nice people in general, fun people in general, and just every time I come here I fall in love with it more. This is my 5th time to come to the Philippines, and I look forward to it every time. I feel like it's my home away from home. So it's definitely not a coincidence that I've chosen this market to focus my effort on. And I don't exactly know why the country has embraced my music so well, but about 60% of my streams come from the Philippines. I do get played in over 200 countries every month. I mean, I'll look it up. There's like countries I never even heard of where I get played at, but I really focus on the Philippines because it's one of my favorite places in the world. And I think it's very, I write a lot of love songs, and it's a very loving culture. I feel like people in the Philippines generally do like, I don't know what the word would be, but happy, uplifting, kind of encouraging love songs. And it's a very family-oriented culture, and it connects with me, and I feel like I've connected with, obviously, the whole country has embraced me from here. I played from here all the way down to Davao and CDO and Iloilo and Cebu. I've been all over the Philippines, and it's just my favorite place in the world.
Does it boggle your mind that you got 250 million streams for your debut album?
Yes, I'm from Oklahoma. There's only 7 million people in Oklahoma, so I'm like 250 million streams. That's like everyone in my home state listened to it hundreds of times. There's so many people, and it does boggle my mind. It's hard for me. I got 55 million streams last year. So we're talking about out of 250 million streams, a good majority of that, almost 40% of it came in the last 2 years. So Steven Speaks is more popular now than I've ever been. And it does boggle my mind that 20 years after I released these songs, I'm more popular than I've ever been. It's very cool.
So can you say that during the lockdown, your music served as sort of therapy for a lot of people?
Definitely. Absolutely. During the lockdown, I watched my streams double and triple during 2020. And last year, again, we signed a deal. I signed a distribution deal with Believe, who I was with a company called TuneCore, who's owned by Believe. And then their parent company approached me, and they said, hey, man, we would love to distribute your music. And then it doubled again when I switched over to them. So I've watched it double multiple times in the last couple of years. And I was already amazed with how many streams I was getting, just an independent artist from Oklahoma. And it's really been mind-boggling. But I do think during the pandemic, especially when people are at home and kind of in a hard time, that uplifting songs that are kind of feel-good, happy songs that make you feel good. And of course, everyone's, instead of at work and traveling, stuck in traffic, they're at home on Spotify, where they can kind of pick what they want to listen to. And obviously, they pick Steven Speaks, and it is, like you said, it's mind-boggling, but I'm certainly thankful for it, and I really appreciate it. It's been amazing. It's been an amazing 2 years of my career.
Why don't you tell us about this amazing new single that you got before you performed it? And for the benefit of my colleagues in media, yes, you may video it, and Rockwell says it's all right to put it out.
Yeah, it's fine with me. To me, more promotion is more promotion. One of the first things I did with Steven Speaks back in 2003, and I got in an argument with I was signed with Warner Music at the time. They wanted me to not have free downloads on my website. They said no one would buy the album if you could download it for free. And I said, I disagree. I think they will buy it anyways. I think they'll download it, they'll listen to it, they'll come to the show, they'll buy a t-shirt, and they'll buy the CD, which turned out to be true, because they did. I said it's free promotion. To me, I just want to get it out there to as many people as possible. So I see no reason to not release it. Let's release it. If you like the new single, if people listen to it and pass it on, then I think they'll go buy it on the 14th when it comes out.
What is this new single all about? Can you tell the media?
Yeah, so this is a new single called Trying to Prove. It's one I've been working on for a while. I co-wrote it with the same guy, one of my best friends from high school, named TJ McLeod, who co-wrote Passenger Seat with me. And we hadn't written together in many, many years, but we had this song that we kind of been working on. It was an idea that I love. It's called Trying to Prove. It's also a love song. It's kind of about I don't want to explain it too much, but it's definitely, I feel like it's self-explanatory when you listen to it and you read the lyrics. It's like, what am I trying to prove? convince myself I'm not still in love with this person. And I'm obviously still in love with this person. So that's what it's about. It's a song of like redeeming love, I would say.
Your turn. The floor is open to questions. Who would like to ask the first question? To Rocco.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Kevin from Manila Constituency. Welcome back to the Philippines, Sir Rock. Since you've been performing all through the times, a lot of years, how do you maintain your voice?
Say what?
How do you maintain your voice?
Oh man, dumb luck. I don't really maintain my voice. It just, I would say just practice. Vocal cords are a lot like any other muscle in the body. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. So I play a lot of shows around locally, around Tulsa. I play for just about anything and anything I can. I sing a lot, and the more you sing, your voice stays strong. I know people who have better voices than me who quit for many years and they lose it. So there's that old saying, use it or lose it. So I just play as much as I can and sing as much as I can, and it maintains. I don't know. I'm lucky.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next question.
And he told them that I'd be seeing you tonight. And then he's from Iloilo. And then he told me that you were there and he got to meet you. And he was just so impressed at how chill you were because you were just there hanging out with other local bands. And then there was a local drummer who also shared online. He said he was really impressed when you performed in the Ateneo. And he was impressed you guys had no qualms or requests about equipment and whatnot, and you just plugged in into the covered chords sound system. So he was impressed by that. And as mentioned earlier, you love the Philippines. It's the place that you it feels like home, away from home. So my question is, what is your most favorite memory here in the Philippines? Or if you can't think of a favorite memory, one that stands out to you the most?
So to touch on what you mentioned, how I just hang out, it's one of my favorite things. I call it stage crashing. I would I would just tell my crew, we had a night off, I'd be like, hey, I want to go see a band, and I want to go crash the stage and get up on stage with them. Just somewhere, anywhere, I don't care. And one of the reasons I like doing that, for one, it's kind of spontaneous. People are always surprised. Last night when I got here in the hotel, I came up and sang with the band that was playing here last night. So I love stage crashing. That's probably one of my favorite memories. It's happened multiple times. But my inspiration for that is, there's a guy named Bill Murray.
Yes.
You guys know Bill Murray, the comedian. I've heard so many stories of friends that are in Los Angeles. A lot of celebrities are like, they won't take pictures of you, they won't shake your hand, they won't talk to you.
Yeah.
And I've heard so many stories about Bill Murray. Like one time, he was at like I don't know where he was, but he ran into some college kids, and they invited him to their house party, and he's like, okay. So he just shows up at their house party and goes in and starts washing the dishes. And the guy that lived there didn't know that Bill Murray was at his house. And he goes into his kitchen and Bill Murray's washing his dishes. It's like, what is happening right now? And there's so many stories about how Bill Murray's just the chillest, down-to-earth guy, will hang out with anybody, go anywhere, and he's just so approachable. He'll talk to anyone, he'll sign anyone's autograph, he'll take pictures of people. And I always thought, man, if I was famous, I want to be that guy. I want to be like that. And so I remember multiple times in Iloilo, I just walk into a bar by myself, and they tell me, you can't leave the hotel without security. And I sneak out and walk into a bar across the street by myself and just sit down next to people like, hey, and they don't realize who I am until I get on stage and sing passenger seat, and then I'm taking pictures and signing autographs. But that's probably my favorite memory, is stage crashing in the Philippines, cover gigs and stuff.
Thank you so much. And I hope you get
not only are you going to do all these small shows and all these shows at probably the fanciest bars, but you'll also be playing UP Fair.
Oh yeah, UP Fair. I'm
And
going
something
UP
like
Fair.
that. And then you'll also be playing at Sagio, which is kind of like CBGB's.
Yeah.
So So what is this? How would you describe this each of yours to like play at any kind of venue, regardless of, you know?
I think it's really important to remember where you came from. And it goes back to kind of the Bill Murray thing of just being down to earth. I don't, you know, whether it's in Arnetta Coliseum or just some little tiny hole in the wall bar, I tend to like those kind of small, intimate settings. Yeah, like tomorrow I'm playing at Solar Theater, and that's a fairly decent sized theater, but it feels a little bit intimate, and I will never. I mean, I couldn't be famous enough that I wouldn't stage crash and go play smaller venues. I love the hole in the wall kind of bar type of venues. Those are some of my favorite things to do. They're my favorite venues to go to. I remember seeing, well, hey, One Republic's going to be here next in a couple weeks, and the lead singer of One Republic played on the first Steven Speaks record. We have he sings on one of my songs. And we played a pretty small venue in Oklahoma called Kane's Ballroom. It's like maybe 1,400 people, and it's just a giant warehouse. And you know, that's Kane's Ballroom. I remember seeing Foo Fighters there before they got big. I remember seeing Maroon 5 there before they got big. And those are just my favorite kind of venues, kind of the smaller hole in the wall, like you said, CBGB. And so I will always do those venues. I always want to. I don't want to just do arenas or just do bars or just do theaters. I like doing a variety of that. And the UP Fair, I love outdoor festivals, all the college kids having fun. So I like to diversify, mainly so I don't get bored. So it's fun to mix it up and do different venues. I always will.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.